Let me say more about this now. The Virginia governor ordered his residents to stay home until June the 10th. And the order was issued March the 30th. I typed this on March the 31st. I will preach this on April the 5th. I typed this down so that I could not be accused of being careless. Many of you are in the public eye, and I do not want to cause you undue pressure because of the church you belong to or the pastor of that church. And so I'm going to be very careful. You see the next verses as God's gift, and then hear my counsel. We trust our leaders. We trust our judges. We trust our governors. We trust our president. We trust the CDC because we believe in the sovereignty of God. And the scripture tells us in Romans 13 that the powers that be are ordained of God. So we have this tension where we know that power in wicked humanity gets corrupted and abused. And our responsibility as Christians to live uprightly as godly and classy citizens. Yeah? And so we believe that God is sovereign, and we believe that He answers our prayers and gives us responsible leadership. Now we read 58 and 59, and Jesus says, when you go with your adversary to the magistrate, make every effort along the way to settle with him, lest he drag you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and the officer throw you into prison. I tell you, you shall not depart from there till you've paid the very last mite. I'm almost done. Here we see that one can only die on one hill in their whole life, and that there will be many opportunities to be lawful and model citizens. But when you know that God's people in the state of Virginia are already to be counting on 3 months of no corporate worship, I am not asking you whether COVID-19 is human bred and made with human malice, nor am I asking you to consider whether it is actually dangerous. I have already said that it is dangerous. I have already said that it is something that we ought to pay attention to our leaders on. But I do think that it is a dangerous virus, and I want you to see that it is a bloodless foe. With all of these realities, I have 3 questions. If not COVID-19, what will it be? I readily admit that this may be nothing but a foreshadow of the last calamity against God's people to prepare us for a day to come. Number 2, if the end of COVID-19 would make me the most happy today so that I can get on with my comfortable life, then is the coming of Christ truly my blessed hope? Question number 3. If the early church and medieval church, for that matter, only assembled on the... Listen to me. If the early church and medieval church only assembled on the Lord's days when it was both legal and safe, would we even have a faith to believe today?